Siti Aminah MTP. Now, I'm going to, before presenting, I think while preparing your presentation slide, ma'am, which I'm going to, let me please read your short curriculum vitae. Dr. Siti Aminah MTP. She is a researcher at Research and Development Agency, Ministry of Home Affairs in Jakarta. She is living in Jakarta too. Her education background, bachelor was in Government Science, Institute of Government Science, master in Regional Development Planning, Gadjah Mada University, and doctor in Communication and Community Development, Bogor Agricultural University. She is a trainer of many forums, especially in accountability in government. Now, in short, she's a very expert in having research, especially in agriculture and communication. I think that's all about curriculum vitae. So sorry if I have read in many mistakes on your curriculum vitae, ma'am. But to make it short, please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Siti Aminah MTP. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. Can you see my presentation and my voices? You can hear clearly?
Very clearly, ma'am.
Thank you very much, moderator, Bapak Lalu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I would like to say thank you for coming to my presentation. Before this, I very appreciate for topic from Bapak Salman is very inspiring for us, especially for me. First of all, let me say big thank you to Universitas Mataram, especially the Faculty of Education, for inviting me as a speaker at this great forum. Today, my topic about operational capacity in handling COVID-19 cases in Indonesia. I'm so sorry, this is not about education, but it's for a subject for all people in Indonesia. Okay. My presentation consists of two parts. First, I will highlight the situation of COVID-19 from March 2020 to August 2021, and the crisis of COVID-19 pandemic in June to July 2021, when active and death cases, and the crisis of COVID-19 pandemic in July 2021. We look much active and death cases of COVID-19 increased drastically. The second part, I will describe the issues of operational capacity of handling COVID-19. Therefore, the recommendations were formulated to enabling the operational capacity to deal with pandemic. Sorry, moderator, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, I am continue. Thank you very much. I will talking about operational capacity from the concept of the state capacity. It was coined by the historical sociologist Charles Tilly. The capacity of the state originally referred to the power of the state to increase the development process. So the essence of the state capacity is the capability of the state or government to formulate policies to respond the problematic situation and how to reach the expected goal by government. What the operational capacity is related with handling COVID-19. According to 2020, he studied in how government how Singapore government handling COVID-19. Operational capacity is as one of the dimension of state capacity that determine the success of handling COVID-19. Operational capacity covers aspect the availability of infrastructure, detection and treatment, and the availability of medical worker or health worker for handling COVID-19. So the countries, I will stress this, the countries was tested for its capacity when they faced the pandemic. During COVID-19 pandemic, all of the countries faced an invisible enemy, namely the virus. The virus infected human, that is causing death. It is not easy thing for any countries to overcome this virus, including Indonesian government. Now let's begin to part 1, the condition of active and dead cases of COVID-19 on March to August 2021.
Mohon maaf Ibu,
ya.
Bisa tidak lancar jalan slide-nya.
Oke. Now I repeat, let's begin to part 1, the condition of active and dead cases of COVID-19 on March to August 2021. If we look at the graph released by the COVID-19 Task Force for March 2020 to July 2021, active cases in Indonesia increased significantly. So we look at the red color represent the number of cases, and the green color represent cases have recovered from the infection. And the black color represent the cases of people die. We look from March 2020 to August 2021, the number of positive cases and death continues to increase. Globally, as on August 14, 2021, out of 234 countries, place Indonesia in the 13th rank with a total infection more than 3 million cases, and the total of death more than 116 death cases, placing Indonesia as the country with the highest daily death rate in the world, namely 1,270 deaths. So the graph show that active case the graph show the active case in July 2020 were more than 37. However, in July 2021, active cases increased to more than 500 cases infection. So it's very increased significantly, drastically. Active cases are people who have tested positive for COVID-19 and undergoing treatment. If we look how Indonesia across the other countries in Asia, the graph show that Indonesia occupies the high position of active cases of COVID-19 across Asian countries. If we look the data from Worldometer data on August 2, 2021, active cases of COVID-19 in Indonesia more than 500 cases, while Asian countries such as Thailand, it's not depend on the population, but the active cases more than 200, Malaysia more than 200, Vietnam 116, Myanmar 70, and the other countries like Cambodia, Singapore, Timor-Leste, they are below 5,000. Especially Brunei only has 55 active cases. So it's show that Indonesia very high cases of infection. Now the graphs show that the death of COVID-19 cases we look increase from March 2020 to July 2021. The high COVID-19 death cases in July was more than 80,000 since January 2021, and the death rate has increased very significantly above 3%. The COVID-19 death cases in Indonesia is the highest among ASEAN countries. Based on the Worldometer data to Augustus 2021, number of COVID-19 deaths per 1 million population in Indonesia is more than 300 or 357. Meanwhile, the cases in Asian countries such as Malaysia, 292, the Philippines, 253, Myanmar, 184, Cambodia, 87, and Thailand, 76, while Timor-Leste and Vietnam were 19 deaths. Furthermore, Singapore and Brunei Darussalam have a low death. Okay. It is understood that there are many factors contributing to increase active and death cases of COVID-19 in Indonesia. However, I go to the operational capacity issues supporting the handling of COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia. It is important to know the need for Indonesia reviewing its operational capacity to deal with future pandemics. We don't know what the future of pandemic or no, but it's important for Indonesia thinking this. Okay, go to the next slide. Based on survey held by Research and Development Agency, Ministry of Home Affairs in 4 provinces in West Java, Center Java, Banten, and Jakarta province. The study found that the majority of respondents, COVID-19 task force or Satgas COVID in each province perceives the operational capacity and its dimension in the moderate category, average 66, and the dimension of operational capacity including availability of health facility and medical equipment, detection of COVID-19, and availability of human resource, health worker. And if we look at the data, Jakarta has the higher technical capacity or operational capacity compared to the other province. So we go to the next. What the issues? If we look issues of the operational capacity, there are some issues. Going to the health facility issues, begin from the availability of the bed of hospital. The availability of hospitals bed in Indonesia deemed it was not optimal supporting health service. Based on the following figure, you can see the Indonesia bed ratio is 1.17, which is it is mean 1.70 beds are available in hospital for 1,000 residents. The highest bed ratio are Jakarta province, 2.33, and the lowest are West Nusa Tenggara and East Nusa Tenggara. You can look in the data. And in the Jawa region, beds in West Java only 0.85, Banten province, 0.87, and Central Java 1.15. Bed to population ratio in Indonesia is low compared to the standard recommended by WHO, 5 to 1,000 or 5 hospital beds for 1,000 residents. Meanwhile, the other countries such as China, you can look at the table. China, South Korea, And Japan is the highest in Asia. They have 13 beds per 1,000 population. Compared with Indonesia, is very low. If we connected to the spike of COVID-19 pandemic in June to July, bed to population ratio in Indonesia is low, and it make in May 2021 bed occupancy ratio only 20%. However, when there was a spike in positive case of COVID-19, bed of occupancy ratio or BOR rose sharply to more than 49%. In July, BOR for isolation rooms and intensive care unit in 7 provinces reached between 50 to 80%. This exceeds the BOR standard by WHO, which is 60%. So it is very sadly Indonesia in the how handling COVID-19 with the spike of pandemic COVID. Now we look at the medical equipment availability. The number of COVID-19 laboratories are now available 796. But if we connect to the target of testing, according to WHO standard, is 1,000 people per 1 million population per week. Indonesia population now 270 million people, so the test must be carried out 270,000 people per week. However, availability of laboratories in local area unlike the reagent. What is the reagent? Reagent is the raw material for test COVID-19, and the tools that need for the COVID test in the laboratories is very limited. Also, the availability of laboratories workers are limited. Another issue, we can see that availability of medical equipment during June to July 2021 indicated are low. We look, there are the problem is shortage of ventilators and oxygen, as well as delay in the supply of medicine due to shortage in production and distribution. Now we go to the gaps, the need of health worker. We look, the availability of health worker is limited or was deemed not adequate. Look at the ratio of the doctor. Indonesia have ratio doctor 0.4 doctor per 1,000 population. This means that Indonesia only has 4 doctors serving 10,000 population. When we facing surge COVID cases in June to July 2021, the availability of health worker was become crucial issues. For example, active cases reach more than 63,000 in West Java. Is this need 40 to 50 doctors, but unfortunately, only 11 doctors per 100,000 population. Same in Central Java, active case reach 39,000, more than 30,000. It needed around between 30 to 40 doctors, but only 70 doctors were available. Indonesia Doctor Association, IDI, reported an increasing trend of health worker deaths in Indonesia. During the pandemic, the death of health workers reaches 370 6 dates. Mostly doctors, and the number of doctors die 598, and nurse 503. It's very sadly. In figure, you can see that the highest number of health worker dates was in East Java, 545, and then followed by West Java, 184, DKI Jakarta or Jakarta Province, 167, Central Java, 148. The date rate for doctor continues to soar in East Java. You look, DKI Jakarta, Central Java, West Java, and North Sumatra. The majority of doctors have been vaccinated up to the second dose, but because the surge in patient, I think the surge of patient COVID-19 caused workload over. So it's the problem of very sadly the health worker died in pandemic. Now we look at the Indonesia vaccination program. If we look the data in before IGAS. Sorry,
Dr. Siti Aminah.
Yeah.
Would you please shorten your presentation?
Okay. I make sure. Okay. Indonesia was low testing compared to other countries. Low testing casing. Many cases of infection under-detected. So if you look data, Worldometer August 2021, the total number tests per 1 million population in Indonesia only 19.7, more than 97,000. And compare Singapore is very big gaps. Malaysia too, and include Brunei. One of the crucial problem or factor that cause low testing in Indonesia is the price of the COVID-19 test. The price of PCR test or polymerase chain reaction, it rapid test, the price is very high. Compare the other countries such as Malaysia, around this time only 510 rupiah, Philippines between 400, and even Singapore were free of charge. Okay. Now we look at the vaccination program. Before August, low vaccination rate early phase. Nationally, the target vaccination program are 208. On August 6, 2021, people has one dose reach 23%, and two dose reach 11.08%. If you look Jakarta, the highest coverage of the fields, those vaccination in 34 provinces in Indonesia was followed by Bali, Riau, and Yogyakarta. If we compare in the global, Indonesia is still below the global vaccination rate. Global reach more than 29. Okay. The other issues is lack of data validity. Indonesia faces validity data or data validity of COVID-19, such as number of infection and death. Invalid data has implication for handling COVID-19. So, if we fight the pandemics, that data quality, especially epidemiological data, are very important. However, unreliable data has been a major challenge for the government with dealing the COVID-19 outbreak. Based on estimate infection data using mortality by Diki Budiman. Diki Budiman is a researcher from Global Health and Security. He found that there were many cases of infection in the community in Indonesia were not detected. Is the big problem about data. Now, last conclusion, Indonesia faced the high number of active cases and deaths. However, the operational capacity to support the handling COVID-19 pandemic was deemed not optimal. Okay, so it is important to government has to set up new policy framework to increase the operational capacity. Therefore, the government needs to strengthen or to enabling operational capacity as follow. Increasing the hospital bed ratio, improving the supply network of medicine, medical equipment, medicine, also raw material for laboratory examination. And intensity of COVID-19 testing is very important by government, because without testing, we can do isolation, contact tracing, and quarantine. It cannot be carried out. So next to recommendation, the government need to evaluate the need of health worker at all regions and ensure the protection of health worker volunteers. And the next recommendation, government has to increase vaccination target. And the last, the government needs to develop an integrated and real-time COVID-19 data collection system. This is to ensure the validity of the COVID-19 transmission data in all province and district and the cities. Thank you very much, Dr. Lalu, for giving me opportunity present my topic. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Siti Aminah, for presenting your very bright information related to what happens in Indonesia in context of pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. Well, if I'm going to highlight what Ibu Dr. Siti Aminah presented before, according to her, that in Indonesia during this year has suffered very high cases of infection, especially around March to August 2021. And also Indonesia has suffered many lackness or unavailability, especially on medical equipment, even doctors. The ratio of the doctors' amount in each region is very low. As, even she also mentioned that the slow vaccination at early phase is very slow. And also compared to global situation, Indonesia is under measurement or below measurement of the vaccination. The data of validity is also very, very poor or very lack. So again, it seems to me that what Ibu Dr. Siti Aminah found is very frightening for us. And this information should be reported to our government, ma'am.